Good evening, members of the media. Welcome to the ZANU PF press briefing by our ZANU PF National Political Commissar, Dr. Mike Lima, and the Secretary for Information and Publicity, as well as the party spokesperson, Ambassador Chris Mchangwa. I'm sure all of you have been anxiously waiting to hear on whom have been confirmed, endorsed and confirmed by the Politburo as the successful candidates that will be representing the party in the harmonized elections. Now, Dr. Bima will announce 6 provinces have been covered to date, which is Harare Province, which is Bulawayo Province, Harare Province, Manicaland, Mashonaland East, Mashonaland Central, and Matabeleland North. The other 4 provinces will be covered tomorrow. So Dr. Bima will announce the list of the successful candidates, and then Ambassador Mchangwa will give comments and give the reasons as to those that were not successful, areas which have been asked to do reruns, those that were disqualified, and so forth and so on. So without wasting time, let me now hand over to our National Political Commissar, Dr. Mike Bima, to announce the list of the successful candidates that have been confirmed and endorsed by the Politburo. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Comrade Brown. I do recognize Comrade Ambassador Chris Mchangwa, our Secretary for Information and Publicity, and I also want to recognize you, members of the press. If you recall, the couple of days ago, I did announce the names of those candidates who had participated in the primary elections and those who were leading in the number of votes. And we said these were preliminary results subject to approval by the Politburo. And I'm glad to say we have had 2 meetings so far, and as Comrade Brown indicated to you, that we have now covered 6 of our 10 provinces, and we hope to finish the other 4 tomorrow. I will go through the candidates that have been approved to represent ZANU PF. And these are to do with the National Assembly, the senatorial seats. I will also touch on the women's quota, and I won't give you more information on the youth quota. We still want to get some verification on some of the reports that we have. So probably the next time we meet, I will be going through the youth quota. Bulawayo Central, that is the National Assembly. Tendai Charuka, Bulawayo North, Kosana Mkandla, Bulawayo South, Rajesh Modi, Cowdrey Park, Professor Mtuli Ngube, Entumbane Njube, Linda Chinamano, Amakandeni Luveve, Brian Samurio, Lobengula Magwegbe, Butolezwe Jovu, Mpopoma Mzilikazi, Admire Masikati, Nketa, Tavengwa Zijga, Kulumane, Freedom Murechu, Pelandaba Shabalala, Cecilia Verenga, and Pumulani Nsingo. And I'll give you the list of the female candidates put forward for the senatorial positions. But sometime in the couple of weeks to come, they will do the ranking. But for now, I'll give you the names of those who have been put forward or who have won in the elections in the particular senatorial constituencies. We have, on the female side, for the Bulawayo province, we have Ndlovu Ntombi Kaise, Maposa Fidelia, Moyo Esnat, Moyo Anna. And on the male candidates, retired Colonel Chinga Dube, Alderman Nyati Abednego, Alderman Ndlovu David, Mashava Eliphas, Chiponda Isaiah Sisi, Engineer Mlungisi Moyo, and Shadrach Mutlaba. On the women's quota, we had the following: Nowedza Ulysses, Duve Molina, Ndlovu Tolakeli, Sibanda Rejoice, Ndlovu Tariraishe, Chinyenye Tambudzai, Sibanda Sibongile, Ngue Judith Mukwanda, and Sibanda Caroline. That completes Bulawayo province minus the youth quota. I now move to Harare province, National Assembly. Budiriro North, Godwin Gomwe. Budiriro South, Tatenda Makwea. Chitungwiza North, Spencer Machangara. Chitungwiza South, Goodwill Mafura Tidze. Churu, I'm sure the comrade, as I said earlier on, there will be comments on Churu. It's one of those that comments will be made on. Dzivarasekwa Love More Chamatoa. Epworth North, Kandishire. Epworth South, Taedzwa Mutana. Glen Nora, Mupindu Muchineripi. Glenview North, Witness Zamanga. Glenview South, Offered Muchue. Harare Central, Nyasha Zenda. Harare East, Mavis Gumbo. Harare South, Trimo Kanopula. Harare West, Patrick Zindoga. Heathcliff, Tongesai Mudambo. Hatfield, Paidamoyo Nyamakanga. Highfield, Taka Mashonganyika. Unyani, Tongai Munangagwa. Kuwadzana East, Tell Me Majavura. Kuwadzana West, Tauya Mauka. Mabvuku Tafara, Scott Sakupkanya. Mbare, again, there will be a comment on that one later. Mount Pleasant, Biddle Gwasira. Southerton, Nyemba Maureen. Sunningdale, Lois Mahweva. St. Mary's, Nobet Jinjika, Warren Park, Tafadzwa, Chidawa. Zengeza West, Simon Chidakwa. Zengeza East, Mutimba Nyoka, Kiev. On the Senate, the following have been approved: Chikomo, Mahia Douglas, and Rosemary Sitole. Wata, Tavengwa Charles, and Ungwe Omega. Chitungwiza, Obediah Moyo. Chisipiti, Stalin Maumau, and Faith Mango. Mvura Chena, Godfrey Gijima, and Chijanje. Last Mbizo, and Aida Mashonganyika. On the women's quota, DCC 1, Julia Chapkanya. DCC 2, Messi Mugomo. DCC 3, Betty Nambu Kaseke. DCC 4, Nyasha E. Chikwinya. DCC 5, Miriam Ara Chikukwa. And DCC 6, Memory Mamio. That completes Harare. I would like now to, as I said, that there will be comments made on some of the constituencies. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Comrade PC. As you can see, the President and this Politburo takes these elections very, very seriously. This is the second day of an extraordinary sitting of the Politburo as the National Elections Directorate of ZANU PF. This is to supervise our primary elections and add finality by by endorsing the candidates we have been voted for by ourselves and as the Electoral College of this massive exercise. Generally, it went very well. We are happy with the diversity of the candidates. A lot of young people came forward to be candidates of ZANU PF. This reflection of the smooth passing on of the baton between the old and the new, and that is befitting of a party, the party of the Zimbabwe Revolution, the party which has been around from the birth of nationalism in the 1960s, the party which founded the Zimbabwe state by Zanla and Zipra as the military wings, which are now the backbone of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. So you can see that it's a part of continuous renewal, ZANU PF. And yes, there are many young people, but there are also older people who have been retained in their various constituencies. What it reflects is that it is the appeal of a candidate to the voter which matters. Age is important, gender is important, but also its dedication to the ethos of the party. So those who were chosen by the people in various provinces, they've been almost a 99.9% endorsement of the will of the people. There's never been any central direction by the party leadership to say we are the Politburo, therefore we are having guided democracy to put this one and not that one. No, it was the expression of the popularity of the candidates from the voters. The instances in Harare, which are an exception, where there was a rerun, is because there was violence in Harare. And we felt, and the president is very strong on the issue of zero tolerance to violence, we felt that the voters were not given the rightful atmosphere to express whom they wished. The X is supreme. The X of the voter is supreme. So any other resort to extra voting measures for a candidate to assent to become the party choice in the coming elections is not being entertained, and we will not. And the president is broking no nonsense on the issue of violence. You may remember that as we went into the elections, we actually had to dismiss a very hard-working young man in Epworth because of the issue of violence. We then proceeded to equally do the same thing during the endorsement of the candidates, and we are going to have reruns in Mbare and Churu. It's we say charity begins at home, and that's what the president is saying. We will not accept any violent streak as a vehicle to the accession of candidates by any of the members of the party. And it's a warning that as we go, as we proceed, any member of the party who is engaged in violence, there will be either disqualification or there will be a reruns. And if there is any of that violence again during the rerun, the culprit candidate will automatically be disqualified, period. We will not entertain bad apples who tamper with the choice of the people of Zimbabwe in their exercise of their democratic right to choose whom they want. We are a party which came, as I always emphasize, from ballot to office, even when we were on the verge of bullet to office in 1980, 79, 80. So the X is sacrosanct in the ethos of ZANU-PF as a party. This is by far in contrast with what's going on in the other party, where the processes are not transparent, the structures are not even existing, where they say we campaign during the night like birds or owls when people are asleep, where they say that a coterie of the leader is the one which chooses the candidates in a non-opaque manner, where the founders of the party are chased out of the party and they end up being part of the opposition through their own splintering political parties. This is not the ethos of ZANU-PF. Ours is to embrace all, to come into the fold of ZANU-PF. And it is reflected by the diversity of the candidates and the announcement. And the fact that so many have been accepted without any qualification by the Politburo should go very much to address the fears of those who say there may be a Boram Sangom in the elections. It won't be there because they've been open and democratic. And the results are posted on the various polling booths. They are there to be seen. And you can, and that is what we are using. If ever there is anybody, there was, what the chairperson didn't say, Comrade Bima, is that to help his job, he has an ad hoc committee independent of the Elections Directorate, which is acting as a technical assessor of complaints. So they spent the last 3 or 4 days assessing complaints, making comments on those complaints, and this has been the cross-checking material of the PC as he represents the final winners to the Politburo. So it's not like it's coming from his head. All the complaints which have a valid reason, particularly those which come from losing candidates, because there's nobody as vigilant about his loss or win as the losing or the winning candidate. Those complaints are getting premise in consideration by that ad hoc committee. It's led by the Party Secretary for Legal Affairs, Advocate Mudenda. He is the Speaker of Parliament. He's the one who leads that ad hoc committee. So you can see that we are using the structures of the party to make sure that there's democracy in the party, but going beyond to say, to be seen to be delivering democratic party practice in the party. We are not just saying we are democratic. we are traveling the extra mile to entertain complaints, and those which have validity are the ones which cause reruns or disqualification, and that will be coming as we go along. So that is what I wanted to say from the onset. Thank you, Comrade PC, with your wonderful work.
Thank you very much,
and
Comrade
if somebody can want, I don't know whether I want questions at the end of the day, but would you want questions by batch, or we go through, then we have questions at the last minute? Because it's getting dark. You need to meet your deadlines.
I think end of proceed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Comrade Mchangwa, for the comments. I will now move to Manicaland Province. National Assembly, Buhera Central, Samson Matema, Buhera North, Philip Guyo, Buhera South, Mudekunye Ngonidzashe, Buhera West, Mugwadi Tafadzwa, Chikanga, Kenneth Muchina, Chimanimani East, Joshua Sako, Chimanimani West, Wilson Maposa, Chipinge Central, Machingura Reimo, Chipinge East, Liwayo Lincoln, and I think, yeah, Chipinge South, Porusingazi, Enoch, Danga Mvura, Jani, Clyde, Headlands, Mapfumo Farai, Makoni Central, Shepherd Mika, Makoni North, Muombi Joseph. And I think Comrade Mchangwa will also make a comment on Makoni South. Mutare Central, Isao Mupfumi. Mutare North, Admire Mahachi. Mutare South, Dumbarimwe Tawanda. And Mutare West, again, Comrade Mchangwa will make comments on that one. Mutasa Central, Innocent Benza. Mutasa South, Obey Vute. Mutasa South, Mishek Mugadza. Musikavanu Mutema, Angeline Gata. Nyanga North, Chipo Sanyatwe. Nyanga South, Mandiwanzira Super. Makoni West, Jenfan Muswere, and I move to the Senate. Buhera William Mutomba, Chimani Mani Tembinkosi Chiororo. Again, there will be comments by Comrade Mchangwa on Chipinge. Makoni, Shadrach Chipanga, and Comrade Gandia. Mutare, Irene Zindi, Zimunya Marange, Monica Muchangwa, Mutasa Nyanga, Michael Nyambuya and Hubert Nyanongo. The women's quota, Buhera Beauty Mujingi, Chimani Mani, Patricia Kunjande, Chipinge, Evelyn Mutetwa, and we still want to verify certain information regarding Makoni. Mutare, Mutandi Gertrude, Mutasa, Opa Muchinguri, Nyanga, Teresa Nyapokoto. And that completes the list. I would like to ask Comrade Mutswangwa to make comments on Manicaland.
Yeah, earlier on in Harare province, I commented on the issue of violence. But beyond the issue of violence is also a consideration of the ethics, whether the behavior of the individual generally in society or specifically during the elections, it fits in with the ethos of the party of the Zimbabwe Revolution, ZANU-PF. It is in this instance that in Chipinge South, there was Nyamudzo Robert who was disqualified. The reasons is that he allegedly owns a factory at his home, and it is one of the biggest brewer of Tumbwa and Toriro. This guy, you know, I saw some frightening pictures of small bottles in their millions, which allegedly are used to bottle this dangerous stuff. You will recall that 2-3 sittings ago, the Politburo had a big session, a long session on the issue of drug abuse, particularly trying to push drugs through our young people in schools, in primary schools, even, in secondary schools even. This is a menace which the country is facing, and the fact that our currency is now the US dollar, because we are earning so much US dollars, and it begs me, people saying the country is being looted. Why are we having so many US dollars in the economy if we are being looted, you know? So it has made also the drug pushers become a menace in our country, because they don't need to convert their earnings into any other currency. You sell this, you bring this, you buy this stuff on the global market in US dollars, you push it, you sell it in Zimbabwe in US dollars, and you go back and buy some more. So kunaga kwezvimwe kushata kwezvimwe. So unfortunately, this candidate has been caught up in that, and the party is determined to show to the public that when we say no to drugs, we walk the mile. We will not embrace people who have a cloud over them because of is questionable or nefarious, if not outside illegal and dangerous activities which kill the fabric of society. Drugs are bad. They are pushed into the inner cities of America to make black people not be part of American society. You know, China fought against the British in colonial times because of the Opium War, when the British were pushing opium to the Chinese people so that they become indigent. So we will not accept that in Zimbabwe. We have a very hard-working and promising future for our youth. They cannot be waylaid by drug pushers or those who push alcohol to them, you know, alcohol which has not been tested in laboratories, and for which they do not have licenses for. There are private distilleries which then push this menace to young people and then destroy their lives, destroy their prospects of careers, and frustrate the parents' desire that their children can be useful members of society. So this gentleman, this candidate, has fallen foul to that stricture of the party, and in his place, the number 2, who is Paul Singazi, is the one who has been now declared the winner. He has been disqualified because of, and I'm also told that he's got a court case actually still going on. But for drugs, we as a party do not have to worry about until you are innocent until proved guilty. No. If society sees you as discharging that kind of nefarious role, and there's evidence, the party has got a higher bar than the one of the Minister of Justice or the Constitution of Zimbabwe. It's an ethical issue, and the ethos of ZANU-PF do not allow for people associated with merchandising alcohol, illicit alcohol, dangerous alcohol, to young people who would otherwise deserve a better future if they are given a chance to go to school. This is why he was disqualified. The other one is Mutare South, Arawa Godfrey. He has been disqualified. There is evidence that ballot papers were tampered with. It may not matter who tampered with the ballot papers, but we do know the party established the beneficiary of that tampering. So, it's, the law of agents boomerangs to the candidate. So he has been disqualified because there are allegations, and they were brought into the Politburo that there was tampering of figures by this particular candidate or his agent, or it was for his benefit. So you cannot, and the impact was very material to the outcome. The tampering was very material to the outcome of the elections. So we had to, the president says, I will not tolerate such kind of conduct within my party, and the Politburo also expressed the similar views, so he's disqualified. He's disqualified. So we are not, this is not a part of friends or relatives or clansmen. This is a part of committed cadres who want to make sure that the party goes well. In similar vein, there's a candidate, a young candidate called Moses Ruona. He became a candidate in Makoni West against Comrade Honorable Jennifer Muswere. Yes. We tried to follow the paperwork of this candidate from wherever he was working as a party cadre before he went to he was moving from March North to Makoni West in Manicaland. The paperwork doesn't fit. Some of the letters, they were actually written at the height of COVID, when the party was not, when the statutory instrument had stopped all political activity. So how he could have obtained a letter of transfer from one province to another at exactly the same time that we had no party activity, through a damper on his credentials to stand as a candidate in Makoni West. Furthermore, the hierarchy of the party in that province was not in the picture of his transfer, and there seemed to have been a retroactive attempt to justify his transfer in order to make him a candidate. The system has flushed him out, and he is now no longer a candidate, and Comrade Jennifer Muswere stands for him. Those are the aspects of ethos and of ethics, and also aspects of threatening criminal behavior, but also of dangerous conduct by certain candidates which militated against them being successful, even though they may have won the vote at the primary elections. I thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mtswangwa. I now move to Mashonaland Central Province, National Assembly. Bindura North, Musani Kenneth Shupikai. Bindura South, Matangira Remigius. Guruwe North, Tendai Pinduka Guruve South, Christopher Magomo. Mazowe Central, Njanji Maximo. Mazowe South, Mazungunye Nobet. Mazowe West, Kazembe Kazembe. Mbire, Karoro Douglas. Mount Darwin East, Butao Zidzai. Mount Darwin North, Munemo Labani. Mount Darwin South, Mupamanga Kudakwashe. Mount Darwin West, Jonga Witness. Muzarabani North, Soda Jemu. Muzarabani South, Kabirika Benjamin. Rushinga Nyabani Tendai. Shamba North, Chinoda Kufa Isaac. Shamba South, Joseph Mapiki. And Mazowe North, Makumbe Tsungai. Mashonaland Central senatorial positions. Bindura Shamba, Mavunga Monica and Nicholas Goche. Guruve Mbire, Chuma Polite and Kambizi 11. Mazowe, Angeline Tongogara and Makumbe George. Mount Darwin, Chimbudzi Alice and James Makamba. Muzarabani, Raradza Edward. And Rushinga Darwin, Kadungure Dorothy, and Dokora Lazarus. That completes the senatorial. Let me move to the women's quota. Bindura Shamba, Dorothy Mashonganyika. Guruwe Mbire, Chibagu Gertrude. Mazowe Tsitsi Gezi. And Mount Darwin, Elizabeth Shongedza. And Muzarabani, Fresca Nambo. And Rushinga Darwin, Chipo Masenda. That completes Mashonaland Central Province without the youth quota.
Yes. Thank you, Comrade PC. There are some highlights which we would want to point to you about Mashonaland Central. Everybody knows it is the bastion of ZANU-PF. And the turnout, even for the primary elections, reflected thundering endorsement of the ruling party. Here we are talking of big figures coming from Mashonaland Central. And if you consider that this is where the revolution took root in the 1970s, that's where we implanted our army to become an indigenous Zimbabwean army rather than hitting and retreating to Zambia. So this is a tempered province in terms of support for the ruling party, in support, and a stalwart province in terms of the permanence of the Zimbabwe revolution and their participation in the primaries reflect exactly that. More so this year when we are going to have our independence celebration at where the first gun was fired, which ushered in the decisive phase of the Chimurenga War, when our army became part of the population like fish in water and did not have to retreat like had been the previous instances of roving rebel warfare back to Zambia. Another aspect from the selection, from the endorsement, we have the young man Kudakwashe Mpamanga. He is a son of one of the war veterans who left university in 1975 to go to war and served for many years, both as in the oil and energy industry as well as in the president's office as one of the cabinet secretaries, deputy cabinet secretaries, Mr. Justin Mpamanga, and the mother is also a war veteran. I'm the chairman of the War Veterans Association of Zimbabwe. We are very happy that young people who have the pedigree of this nature are coming to join the party and to participate in elections and win fairly without backing on the, or without hacking on the fact that their parents were war veterans. He won fair and square. And believe you me, many young people who have a similar background are taking an active interest in the revolution of Zimbabwe because they know what their parents died for. And it is a good thing to have families of patriots, not just patriots as individuals, but to have families of patriots take an interest and give this continuity to the Zimbabwe revolution from an organic point of view within a family. The other aspect is the Angeline Tongogara, our senator from that area, the widow of our legendary general, the one who implanted that war in Zimbabwe in 1969 together with Herbert Chitepo, our chairman. So they love her, and she has come with a unanimous endorsement by the electorate of constituents. This is a good thing. We love it when illustrious figures of the Zimbabwe revolution do get such a recognition and credit from our electorate. We believe that she will sail through and win more votes for the party as we go to the national harmonized election. The other two aspects I want to highlight is the president says he will leave no one behind and no place behind. This has even extended to the embrace of the former G40s. And here we've got two prominent figures from the Gamma Talks and G40 era who have made it back into the party and have won elections. The first one is Nicholas Foche. You can see now he's one of the winning candidates. And the other one is James Makamba. He was often associated with certain political figures in the past, but he has come back with a big bang in the party. We always, as much as possible, stretch our hand to accommodate differences within ZANU-PF. That's why fissuring until we run out of the alphabet is not a feature of ZANU-PF. That's why changing names in order to run away from fissures of the past, from MDC to CCC, is not the way we do things in ZANU-PF. If we can find a room to accommodate each other, we will leave no stone unturned. And that's what the president did. That's why nobody was being disqualified for frivolous differences in the past. And their selection and election by the electorate is a vindication of the correctness of the president's position that at the end of the day, let the people choose. ZANU-PF is the home of democracy. That's what I want to emphasize. And there's no other champion of democracy in ZANU-PF than our president, E.D. Mnangagwa. We could have used any reason to disqualify these people, but he couldn't brook them. He said, let the people make a choice. And then they are successful candidates in Mashonaland and Central. I thank you, Comrade MPs.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mchangwa.
And the other one, too, is Comrade Okora. Also, you know, he had gone with the Gamma Talks, and he was a former Minister of Education, you know him. So he won as a candidate. We are very happy We congratulate all those openly. Actually, there was some clapping when these names were said to be winners, which shows the spirit at which the party is welcoming them. This is the work of our PC. He's the one in charge of returnees of all sorts. These are returnees of a kind. Thank you, PC.
Thank you very much, once again, Comrade Mchangwa. I move now to Mashonaland East Province, starting with National Assembly. Chikomba East, Felix Mona. Chikomba West, Tatenda Mavetera. Goromonzi North, Ozias Vute. Goromonzi South, Tinashe Chikonye. Goromonzi West, Beatrice Nyampinga. Maramba Pfungwe. Karuma Zondo Tichaona. Marondera Central, Clopas Kundiona. Marondera East, Vimbai Mutokonyi. Marondera West, Tavaziva Godwin. Mudzi North, Muskwewe Shiri Benjamin. Mudzi South, Samkange Jonathan. Mudzi West, Kaitano Knowledge. Murewa North, Daniel Garwe. Murewa South, Mangondo Noah. Murewa West, Jere Farai. Mutoko East, Musiwa Richard. Mutoko North, Makwiranzo Caleb. Mutoko South, Tuscany Isaac. Rua Central, Gwanzura Oswell. Seke Kashambe Munyaradzi. Uzumba Wiriranai Muchema. Wedza North, Ndudzo Itai. Wedza South, Machakaire Tinoda. I then move to those successful on the Senate list. Seke Chikomba Mike Bima. Mutoko Nyakudanga Odo. Marondera Wedza, Michael Madana, and Apollonia Munjerengwi. Goromonzi, Marufu Ramson, UMP Mudzi, Gotora Jerry, Murewa, Chinyanga Betha, and Jacob Stanley. And on the women's quota, Chivavaya Faith, that is Marondera Wedza, and Murewa, we have Musarurwa Petronella. Sura Nyarai from Toko, Seke Chikomba, Mushure More Blessing, UMP Mudzi, Hope Zimuto. We still await further information for Goromonzi. That completes Mashonaland East. Do you have any comment, Comrade Mchangwa?
Well, very brief comments, more or less on my last intervention, to add more to the people who have been embraced, who had left the party because of the convulsions of the last, leading to the Second Republic. You see Beatrice Nyampinga, she's back. She was in Parliament before, fell out of the party, and she came back and she contested. She was not deterred from contesting because of this recent past. Noah Makondo, of similar persuasion, he also was allowed to contest, which really shows that we are making every effort to reach out to anybody under the ZANU-PF Imbawuru. There's room for everybody in ZANU-PF. And the popularity is reaching out to some personalities, you know. I used to know Farai Jere, I think was also do the green machine, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Caps, the time when it was doing very well. So here is a prominent Zimbabwean personality in the soccer domain who has decided to join the political fray in order to see what he can do for the Zimbabwe people as an MP, and he has made it. So again, we are all embracing as a party, the youth, those from other walks of life, and the old, the gender-positive aspects by the women's quota, which we see being announced, reserved for women. And we'll be filling up with the youth quota because we want to make sure that it reflects the balance of young men and young women. So this is ZANU-PF Imbawuru, Inokwana Munu West. I thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Mchangwa. Just to add as well that, as you know, the party, as a way of encouraging women participation, came up with this, with the women's quota, where we are talking about 60 seats reserved for women, and therefore stands that every province must have 6 members. However, the party has even gone further to say out of those 6, one of them should be a young woman below the age of 35. Yes. Some of the provinces have conformed, and those who haven't, we will be going back to them so that they conform, so that one of the 6 must be a young woman of 35 years or below.
Yes. This is an appeal to the girl child to say that there is room for you in politics. We always say the freedom of the Zimbabwe woman is not something which is a charity from men. You can't fight and win a people's war during the war when half of the population is not participating, because we had to fight a people's war. So we had to make sure that everybody was mobilized and galvanized to fight. That includes the other half of the population. So we are very conscious of the historical burdens which tend to militate against women getting into politics. But we are also very aware that countries with the happiest index in the world are those where women are participating fully in society, the Nordic countries. So we are consciously driving towards recruiting and encouraging women to come into the fold of ZANU-PF. There's in addition to what you said, there is a third element. On the reserved Senate seats, 6 per province, we have a zebra arrangement. The first one in all the 6 provinces will be a woman. The second one, a man. The third one, a woman. The fourth one, a man. The fifth one, a woman. The sixth one, a man. So in constituencies where we get 100% support and we win all the 6 Senate seats, you can be assured that there will be 3 women from ZANU-PF who will be representing the party, in addition to those whom he has mentioned. So we are doing our best to address the gender issue and doing our best to encourage, to give hope to the girl child that there is a life in politics for women. This is the thrust of a revolutionary party. We want the whole society to be engaged in the governance of that society. This is democracy at work in ZANU-PF. We still have Matabele and South. Matabele North.
Yeah, our last province, but not the least, is Matabele and North Province. National Assembly, Wange Central, Reeds Duve, Wange East, Sikuka Alwis, Wange West, Moyo Pilani, Bubi, Sibanda Simelisizwe, Cholocho North, Sibangumuzi Kumalo, Cholocho South, Musa Nguve, Nkai South, Mate Stars, Umguza, Richard Moyo, Binga North, Muntsaka Kudakwashe, Binga South, Piri Challenge, Lupane East, Fatisiwe Nguve, Lupane West, Jovu Mpumelelo, Nkai North, Stembiso Nyoni, Mat North, Senate, Umguza Bubi, Obed Mpofu, Binga, Fanuel Rebecca, Lupane, Headman Moyo, Wange, Mkanja Moli, and Fati Mpofu. Cholocho, Matema Kane, and Alice Duve. Matabeleland North Women's Quota, Musikwe Juliana for Binga, Wange Sipiwe Mafua, Lupane Male Como, Umguza Masuku Elizabeth, and Cholocho Moyo Sitanda Zile. That completes Mat North with the exception of the youth quota. Thank you.
Done. We are holding very high hopes about Mat North. The by-elections which have been going on there clearly indicate that the party is gaining ground, especially in the Binga area. But you also notice that some of the biggest investments in infrastructure this country has seen is in Mat North. From two aspects, there is the Gwaishangani Dam, which will change the lives of all the people in Mat North, all the way to Bulawayo. Then there is the huge investments in the energy sector in Wange. Just last week, we managed to fire a new power station, 330 megawatts. This is a coal-fired plant in Mat North in Wange. We expect another one to be going on stream in the next couple of months to address the perennial power shortage by a very reliable source which God gave to Zimbabwe, which is a coal, more reliable than the waters of Kariba. You saw what we went through in the year of drought. So, and I'm told now there's a private power station going on already supplying power from Wange. Another one is on the cards, and a big one is also on the cards. But beyond supplying power, we are also doing coking coal in Wange. We now export coking coal to South Africa after our own internal consumption. We export coking coal to the DRC. We export coking coal to Zambia. this is a new phenomenon, this is a new development in Zimbabwe. That's why the country is beginning to earn so many US dollars, because our export drive is gathering pace. And Mart North is right at the center of these new developments, these new investments. So we are confident that we have a message which will resonate with the populace in Mart North because of the attractive investment climate which is being pushed by President E.D. Mnangagwa and his Second Republic, and also his partiality towards some of the cherished projects like the Mchabezi, the Guayashangani Dam. These are projects which are of national importance, and they are happening in Mart North. This is something good. You contrast now with the other party. Never do you see Chamisa with a businessman. Even when he goes to America, where there are some of the best business people in the world, he hobnobs with the politicians who are waiting for trinkets from their government. He doesn't talk to businessmen. So how do you expect such a kind of person who has no vision about how to develop a country to actually, his ticket is suffering. And we are determined to show that our ticket is hope and economic success for the Zimbabwe population. And no province is showing as much promise as Mart North in this aspect. So we will campaign hard between now. You have been told already the elections will be coming between July and August. I think you now know the ballpark dates. By the time we get there, the CCC will be history. We are determined to bury an indigent and useless party which does not know its responsibilities to the urban electorate to which it has been serving for the past 2 decades, with nothing except putrid decay, no industries, rivers which shall come from roads during the wet season, no collection of rubbish. Everything negative about neglecting a city is the hallmark of CCC. And then they blame it on the central government as if they are not elected. Why get elected if you are going to be indigent? You might as well say, and because in July, blame. Now you are riding the bike and you are riding the horse and you want to blame somebody else. This time we will be driving hard the urban electorate to make sure that the CCC loses because of their negligent account of the urban constituencies. That's why we're working so hard as a party. You can see the selection of candidates is a serious affair to us. Spending so much. Now, this is going to be the third day, tomorrow, on the same issue, when he will be back again. So, thank you so much, gentlemen of the press.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, our National Political Commissar, Dr. Mike Bima, and the Secretary of Information and Publicity, Ambassador Chris Muchangwa. And let me just say that the Revolutionary Party, ZANU-PF, as the colossal party, as you can see, continues to open up even its own internal democratic space. And as you can see, there's a hybrid of successful candidates this time around. You've got young people, you've got socialites, you've got celebrities, you've got war veterans, you've got women, you've got youth. Everyone is there. So ZANU-PF accommodates everyone. And it continues to observe its constitutionality, and its ethos and principles as a revolutionary party. So I want to thank you, Ambassador Chris Muchangwa and Dr. Mike Bima, National Political Commissar. If there's anyone with a question, a good question, it's now time for questions. Feel free to ask.
And congratulations to my 2 colleagues. He's made it. And Mugwadi, where is he? My director. He's working.
And also congratulations to you.
I haven't crossed the line yet.
Right. Right.
He is being subversive to the process.